over to Miss Tasha for us to begin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's so good to see you all in the chat, already talking and connecting with each other. My name is Tasha Brown, and I am Midwest Director for Small Business Majority. And you all have just joined our webinar. 1 second, let me get the right screen. I had this earlier. 1 second. You've joined our webinar, The Nuts and Bolts of Business Planning and Financial Readiness. So 1 second while I pull up the right screen this morning for you. There we go. Awesome. Great. So this morning, we're going to be talking about how you can be financially ready and prepared to run your business. And as I mentioned, my name is Tasha Brown. I am the director, Midwest Director for Small Business Majority. Small Business Majority is a nonprofit organization that has been around for about 18 years. And our whole thing is to empower small businesses and the self-employed to ensure they are empowered to drive a thriving and equitable economy. We do have a special focus on advancing the smallest businesses and those facing systemic inequities. I want to make sure that you all can see the whole screen. So 1 second, let's do it this way. There we go. We do have a network of over 85,000 business owners, and we have 9 offices across the country. We engage in a lot of advocacy for small business owners. Particularly, we work on access to capital, entrepreneurship. We talk about healthcare. We help in helping you get infrastructure and taxes, supporting your business in those different ways. And we support that work by ongoing research. In addition to our advocacy and in addition to our research, we also offer education and resources, just like this webinar that I am sharing with you all today through the City of Chicago Business Affairs and Consumer Protection Office. So we have webinars, we have seminars, social media. We're in partnership with more than 1,500 businesses and other partner organizations because we want to make sure that you have the information you need to run a thriving business. We also have our own online resource hub, which is called venturize.org. I really want to encourage you all to visit venturize.org so you can see a wealth of information, resources, networks, connections on that hub. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. This is the nuts and bolts of financial readiness, but we have to start somewhere. So I want to start by addressing or answering the question, why entrepreneurship? Then we will talk about how you can start a business, looking at the business model and business plan. But a bulk of our time will be spent on financial foundations for success. A bulk of our time will be spent on how you can become legal on paper, how you can avoid predatory loans, and how you can understand credit. And as you saw already from the chat, make sure that you all are dropping your questions. There will be a time for us to engage in Q&A. But I really want to make sure that you get the most value out of this workshop. So please, drop your questions in the chat. So let's look at why entrepreneurship. I don't know if you all have heard this before, but people have cited entrepreneurship as being one of the vehicles to build wealth. I'm just curious to see how many of you all have heard of other ways to build wealth. Just drop in the chat. What are the ways that you've heard to build wealth? We definitely have entrepreneurship as one, but what are some other ways? There you go, real estate right off the bat. Absolutely. And I saw life insurance. Absolutely. So in addition to real estate, which requires you to go out and provide collateral for a loan, entrepreneurship becomes an easier way to access this wealth generating vehicle or mechanism. So small business ownership can provide the freedom to create income and build wealth. You can capitalize on business opportunities to earn income. Entrepreneurship gives you an opportunity to create a part-time endeavor to supplement other earnings, or you can use it as a full-time basis to be your main source of income. I really want to underscore that second bullet about creating either a part-time endeavor to supplement other earnings or a full-time business to provide the main source of income. it's really important that we make this distinction because you've heard terms like side hustle before, and people um, don't want to consider you to have a small business unless you're running it full time. I disagree with that line of thinking. I believe that a lot of small businesses start out as something that you do on the side, but it's still a business nonetheless. And so being able to create a part-time endeavor to bring in more income really does help you close the wealth gap. So don't discount a part-time endeavor to supplement your other earnings. And again, entrepreneurship can be done on a full-time basis and be your main source of income. And you know what? You can operate either as a self-employed entrepreneur or solopreneur or a small employer firm. And what is meant by an employer firm is the fact that you hire people, plain and simple. You hire people. And so 80% of businesses in Illinois are self-employed entrepreneurs. They're those who are solopreneurs, about 80% of the businesses in Illinois. But then there's that 20%, which is a small employer firm, and they're able to hire people and change lives with providing some really quality jobs. And so I hope that it's your desire that as you go into entrepreneurship, that you also will make it a goal to be a small employer firm. So really quickly, entrepreneurship, you have sustainable business revenue, you have income, which you can invest and save, and therefore you can build wealth. Now, here's the thing, why entrepreneurship? Well, what drives revenue and income? Basically, you're either going to sell a product or a service. I mean, it's just as simple as that. You're selling a product or a service. You have customers and you have human resources, meaning you have people who help you get the work done. So that's what drives revenue and income. Having this product, having the service, having your customer, having people who can help you service your customers. Having a strategy for efficient operations is very important. Marketing to your target client demographics is important. And what we're here today to talk about, financial planning, that's important. I don't know if you all have looked at your financial planning or your business plan as a tool for financial planning. I'm hoping that after today's webinar, you will see it as that. When I worked with the Illinois Small Business Development Center, oftentimes business owners did not do a business plan because they were intimidated by it. But today I'm going to show you how to do a business plan where it becomes less intimidating, but it also gives you the tools you need to build your business on a solid foundation. So the financial planning tools such as a business plan, break-even analysis, and cash flow projection is what will really help you drive your revenue and then subsequently your own personal income from your business. So let's look at starting a business, the business model and the business plan. I want you all to drop in the chat whether or not you have a business plan. Just say I do or no, yes or no, yes or no. Do you have a business plan? Okay, understood. Great. So almost half and half right now. Oh, this is really good. This is great. Let me tell you the reason why for those who do not have a business plan, and even for those who do, I hope you are doing your business plan in pencil, because more than likely the business that you have planned will not be the one that you execute on. You might say, well, Tasha, what's the point? Well, the point is for you to lay out in front of you all of the things that you are aspiring to do, but then you're putting numbers behind it, you're putting strategy behind it, and then you test it. You put it into practice. And you will notice that after putting it into practice, that there are some things you need to revise. That's why we encourage you to write it in pencil so that you can continue to edit and be the architect of this beautiful business that you're trying to design. So when you look at starting a business, you have to have this business model or even a plan. It doesn't have to be a 30-page document, but we do encourage you to put something on paper. Start by simply putting on paper what are the services or products that you're providing. How are you going to sell this product or service? Your business model, how do you plan to make the money? Are you going to do a door-to-door sales? Are you going to have an e-commerce? You're going to have a brick and mortar? Are you going to bring on a team of people? Are you going to hire a sales force? Are you going to sell directly to corporations? Will you sell directly into the government? How are you going to make your money? And there are a ton of worksheets online, a ton of worksheets to help you with your business plan. There are worksheet tools to shape a business model. For example, there's the business model canvas, the lean startup canvas, and the idea napkin, just to name a few. And the reason why I like to bring up those are because they're more than just a one pager. It's intimidating to think about writing a business plan when you feel like it has to be 15 to 30 pages. I want to encourage you just to get started. Just get started. Start with those 3 bullets at the top. What are the services that you're providing, the products that you're providing? How are you going to sell them? And to whom will you sell? And then how do you plan to make your money? Start with that. Again, the business model canvas, lean startup canvas, or idea napkin give you a place to start. They're not the only templates. That's just a place to start. So then when you start to really get a little bit deeper into your business planning, this is why you will want to consult a fuller business plan, because you'll want to start to get focused on, okay, now that I have what I'm going to do, who I want to sell it to, how I'm going to do it. Now let me test my idea. Let me put it before the ideal target market that I have in mind, because oftentimes this is a thought that we've created in mind, but we now have to put it in the marketplace. So then this is time for you to test it. Then you have to go ahead and look at, okay, I tried to sell beepers, but they're no longer they're no longer popular. So let me kind of pivot and do something else. So having this business plan helps you focus, plan, and adapt your actions when you're starting, operating, and growing your business. So again, you're testing your business model and idea with your target market. It'll help you guide decisions based on your time, money, and resources. Let me give you all an example here. If you are a swimsuit, if you have a swimsuit company, if you have found this amazing product, you got these silkworms that you found that develops this great fabric, and so now you want to have this amazing swimsuit business. Well, having a business plan will show you when you'll have the highs and lows of your business so that you'll know when your cash is flowing into your business. You may notice that, oh, in May or June, this is my high season. But then when it comes to September, October, November, it's a low. Cash flow and business planning helps you see that. And so it will guide your decisions based on time, money, and resources. Having a business plan will help you reduce risks to save money and time. So here's another example with the same swimsuit business. I can reduce my risk if I make bigger purchases when I have a higher cash flow. And the only way I'll know that is if I take the time to plan and to test and to come back and evaluate and do the same process again. Plan it, test it, evaluate it, do it over, rinse and repeat. So reduce risks and to save you time and money. Also, this plan helps you understand your industry landscape demographics. I mean, it's important to know to whom you're selling. And so having this business plan will help you understand your landscape demographics. So to go back to the example, if you start to collect certain information from your customer, and then when you go to evaluate, you notice that most moms are buying swimsuits for their children who are in swim classes, then now this is your target demographic. First, you thought, oh, I will sell to everyone. But you started to take notice that only certain demographics are coming to buy from you, which isn't a bad thing. It's a great thing because now you have more insight and more intel as to your target market. And so understanding your industry landscape demographics is important to you growing and scaling your business. You identify whether your target customers are appropriate. First, you thought it was everybody, but now you see it's just moms with children who are in swim classes. Then, since you know this, now you can market your business to the right customers. Again, that's step planning. You can communicate and justify your business model to others. You can let them know why you do what you do. Why is it that you only advertise between 3 and 6? Oh, it's because that's when moms are picking up their kids from after school and they see my posts. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why my marketing is structured in that way. Business planning helps you do that. And then, of course, lastly, it helps you obtain business funding. So when we look at the types of plans, I shared with you all about this idea napkin, about the lean business model canvas and the lean startup canvas. There are two types. There's the traditional and the lean. The traditional is the lengthy one, and I'll show you an example on the next page, on the next slide, but it is a lengthy type of business plan. It's very detailed. It's comprehensive, it's multiple pages, is best used when you want to take your company to the next phase of growth and funding. This is something that's often requested by investors and lenders when seeking a large fund amounts. Angel investors may require you to show them your business plan and your targets. The lean is short, high level, contains key elements, usually one page, best used when the business model is relatively simple and will change, such as idea and startup business stages. So I definitely want to encourage you all to look at different types of business plans and different types of templates to see which one works well for you. I again want to go back to the top to say, do not be afraid to plan. If you feel as though the traditional plan is overwhelming, find the one pager, and let me go back to these questions and answer these simple questions. Start here. What are the services or products you're providing? How are you going to sell this product or service? And how do you plan to make your money? Are you going to make your money from selling products? Will you make your money from selling, in addition to products, are you going to have some services you sell? Are you going to only sell online? Will you also sell in person? Answer those questions to get started. So here's the table of contents for a restaurant business. As you see, I mean, already I've gotten down to what, 25 pages, which includes 5 items in the appendix. You know, there's the executive summary, the mission, the services, the market analysis, the strategy and implementation summary. Very much so involved. And there are some businesses that will require this level of detail. But then there are others of us who have this one pager, very simple business plan. And this is what you're answering from. I'm actually going to go from the right to the left. You want to know what's your customer segment. So who's your target audience? You want to know what's the unfair advantage? What are the channels by which you're going to work with them? What's your unique value proposition? What's the solution that you're offering? What are the key metrics that you use to measure how effective you've been? What are the problems that you're trying to address? Your cost structure, which is down here, and then your revenue streams. I cannot underscore this enough. Just take a moment. If you ever felt some intimidation when it comes to business planning, take a moment to get something as simple as this lean canvas or business model canvas worksheet and do your business plan. I see that we have some in the chat as well. Yes, Live Plan is there. SCORE has some business planning templates. So does the SBA. Choose one that works well for you. Now, we're going to hang out in this section for a little bit, which is how do you become successful financially with your business? What are the financial foundations for success? You may wonder, why are we talking about how to be legal on paper? Well, you'd be surprised of how much money was left on the table after COVID or during the pandemic because a lot of business owners could not substantiate their business on paper. You need to let folks know on paper that you are a legitimate business. And the way to do that is to establish business bank accounts after you have filed your EIN, after you have filed with the Illinois Secretary of State. Let me make sure I put that out there first. Definitely make sure you are with the Illinois Secretary of State. I think I took that slide out mistakenly, so I apologize for that. But register your business with the state of Illinois. Register your business, whether it's going to be an LLC or a corporation, but make sure you register your business. If you are going to operate as a solopreneur, then you can also do what's called assumed name registration. So that's that DBA, and you would do that with the county, with your county. So you would register your assumed name with your county. So for example, if I didn't want to register a construction company as Tasha Brown Construction LLC, let's just say I wanted to do Tasha, I won't use construction because there is some other things with that, but let me use consulting. If I didn't want to do Tasha Brown Consulting LLC, I might just do Tasha Brown doing business as Tasha Brown Consulting. Okay. That's the name that I would register with the Cook County assumed names and get a Cook County assumed name certificate. So you want to be legal on paper. So once you've either registered with the Secretary of State or you've registered an assumed name with the Cook County, with the Cook County assumed name certificate, excuse me, then you will want to go ahead and get your EIN for your corporation or your LLC and establish a business bank account. And can I tell you enough how important having a business bank account is to your business's operation? You'll be surprised that when you go after certification with either the city, the county, or the state, or even federal, they will want to make sure that anything that you're paying for your business comes out of your business's bank account. The only exception you can really get away with is the initial cost to pay for your business to get registered. I mean, that is going to come out of your own pocket to pay the Illinois Secretary of State because your business has not been established. But after you've made that one expense, then I really want to encourage you to make sure you write a check to your business bank account once you have it open. Even if you're trying to buy pens or plates or whatever it is, write a check from your own personal account, deposit it into your business bank account, and draw off the account that way. You do not want to do what's called commingling funds. You want to show that your business is your business and your person is your person. When you start to commingle funds, what happens is that you move some of the liability that you once, you move the protections that you once had with being a corporation or an LLC, and now you're exposed because there is this commingling of funds. So make sure, first thing off the bat, once you've gotten your business registered, once you have your EIN, go ahead and open up that business bank account. Pay for your registration with your own funds, but then after that, put money into your account and start to use your business bank account for business-related expenses. Let me pause real quick. I don't want these comments or questions to get lost. So I already addressed the one with the business plan. The best plan for grants, lean or detailed. It depends on what the grant is asking of you. I have not seen any grants asked for business plans, but what I will say to you is the process of going through either a lean or a detailed business plan will help you when it comes to preparing whatever grant you're seeking. Meaning, if you take the time to do the detailed one, then you'll be answering some questions that may come up in the grant application. The detailed business plan really gets down to what is the executive summary? What are your projections? Tell us about the market and tell us about your competitors. So it might be those things that help you in future conversations. If you don't feel like the conversations will go in that direction, then the lean would probably be best. And absolutely, John, definitely do a SWOT analysis. And for those who don't know, it's SWOT, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Absolutely do that when it comes to planning your business. What are the strengths of your business? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities do you have? And what are some of the threats? Right now, if you are doing any type of importing, then a threat will be the fact that the bridge went down in Philadelphia, especially if you're trying to import and your products will come by that waterway. But even during the pandemic, we had issues with trying to get product into the USA. That's a threat that it may not be something in your control, right? That threat is not in your control, but you have to identify that. Pros and cons of lean and traditional business plans. Certainly you want to have more details if you need it. Like if I'm having a conversation with an angel investor and I have not done the deep dive into my projections, and I can't think out 3 to 5 years, then having a lean business plan would not have been helpful. It is a great place to start, but depending on where you plan to take your business, I will encourage you to do that next phase of planning, which will be through the detailed business plan. You had an assumed name and now you're doing an LLC. That's great. And I wanted to get to the bank account. Let me tell you, you all, and then I'm going to move on. I personally, and this is the city is not responsible for these comments. I personally would recommend you all look at community banks. When it came down to getting PPP loans, the larger banks were not very friendly with small business owners, but the community banks were. And so definitely look at having a relationship with your community bank. Your community bank could be a Wintrust bank. It could be a CIBC. It just depends on what's in your community. Definitely look at community banks because they are a little bit more support of a small business. And I would say it would be great. Best practice will be to have a checking account, sometimes two checking accounts, one for operating and one to hold your money because of so much fraud that's out there. You would hate for somebody to have access to your bank account and drain it. So I've heard some business owners open up two bank accounts. One would be for their operating where regular things would come out. And then the other account would be for just holding whatever reserves that they have. And then if you feel as though you need a savings, then that would be an option. But certainly having two types of bank accounts would be great. And I'm going to get to some of these other, I don't know much about associated banks, but you have to do a little research. I'm not sure if they're a local bank or not. But yeah, definitely do your research on that. And you won't be able to open a business account before you pay for your registration. I don't know if you meant registration, but you can't open a business bank account. The bank won't let you. They need to see that you're registered and you have your EIN before you can open up a bank account. So once you have those two things, then you can move forward. So make sure you use budgets and you organize your records and have the files together. When I worked again with the Small Business Development Center, I would see a number of small business owners who were looking to be certified, but they could not put their hands on these records that I'm talking about. They couldn't put their hands on their EIN. They didn't know where their registration for their corporation or their LLC was. They didn't have records of their bank accounts. And so they didn't have records of their taxes. So make sure when you are looking to start on a really good footing that you're organized and you have your records in one place. Even if you're getting your records electronically, have a file folder on your desktop or maybe in Google Drive where you drop all of these documents. Because with some of these certification or application processes, you're going to be putting in some electronic documents anyway. So if you like to download your bank records, download them and put them in a folder on your desktop or on Google Drive. When you apply for your EIN with the IRS, which is free, the EIN is free. But if you're doing that, they give you the option of printing out the document right then and there. Save that to your desktop or one of your file folders and have that available. The same thing with the Illinois Secretary of State. If you file online and you do it expedited, then they'll send you information about when your registration is ready. You can download that document, save it on your hard drive, or even save it on a Google Drive and have that in a folder. But make sure you have all those things together. Your taxes, if you need to scan those back in, or your tax preparer can send you an electronic copy, download those to your hard drive. Make sure you save it on a folder so you'll have that record ready. But make sure you have organized record keeping in files because you want to make sure that you have a good footing. And thank you for the book. If I write a check. Oh, I'm not sure, Melinda. I'm not sure how to answer that question. But I see some, I think it, Let me come back to some of these. we're going to pick it up from 1001 BACP so we can get Donna's question in just a moment, okay? So we'll come back to that. Thank you, Donna. I'll come back to these questions just a second. So when we look at, because I think some of this may, what I'm going to share right now may answer some of these questions. So when you're looking at your business bank account, you want to separate your business checking and your savings account from your personal accounts. Track your business income expenses separate from personal. You want to save for business cash reserves. A cash reserve is money you can quickly access for use as a cash buffer in adverse cash flow situations. You may even use your cash reserve to pay your business taxes, or if you all have to pay, depending on if you're retail, you may have to pay Illinois Department of Revenue. Make sure you have enough money to do that, especially if you are in a business where you're charging taxes, but you're not being mindful that you're collecting taxes, and then you have to pay this tax bill. Well, you know, you plan for that. You plan for that. So if you feel like, man, I just collected X amount of dollars in sales tax, put that into the separate account so that you won't be spending money out of that main account and then miss paying the taxes. I hope that's making sense. So again, if you are in a business where you have to collect taxes, make sure that you keep those so that you can file them with the state. All right. So taxes. You definitely want to make sure that you're tracking your business expenses. Now let's talk about this for a quick second. I'm sure you all have heard, if you have been on social media or just in some of these circles for quite some time, people are always telling you how you can get money back from the government. And oftentimes it's you taking a loss on your business. And while taking a loss on your business does allow you to receive more back from the government, it also prevents you from showing to a bank that you have a profitable business. So let me give you an example. Let's say you made 10,000, I'm going to keep it low, 10,000 in revenue, but you've told the IRS that you have 11,000 in expenses. So that means you have a negative $1,000 profit. It's not even a profit, it's you went in the hole. So going in the hole may be good for you because you're able to get money back in taxes. But then when you go to the bank is going to be looking at the fact that you had negative $1,000 in profit, which wasn't profit, it was a loss, excuse me, and losses, negative $1,000 in losses, excuse me. So you want to be mindful and you want to consider, what are your goals? If your goal is to access capital and to have a loan from a bank, then you have to weigh whether or not you want to take a loss every year on your taxes, or if you want to start reflecting the profit that you're making. But whatever it is, with your taxes, you may want to talk to a financial planner or a tax, not just a tax preparer, but maybe a financial planner or a CPA to really do some tax strategies. But with taxes, you want to make sure you track your business expenses. They could be tax deductible, so save your receipts. You must file business taxes if you make $400 or more, or earn $600 through PayPal or Venmo. Self-employed individuals file taxes using Schedule C. And again, that's where you're able to either reflect a profit or a loss. It can help or hinder you. It just depends on where you're trying to go. But make sure you track your business revenues. How much money has come into your business this year? How much have you made? I want to pause right here to do a few of the questions. So I want to go back up to Donna. Okay, so Donna, you had asked, after you get your EIN, can you deposit funds from your paycheck in your business account on a regular basis and use that money until your business is making money? You will, yes, I would say write a check from your personal account to your business bank account. Write a check. Don't have your check directly deposited into your business banking account. I want to make sure I'm not reading that wrong, but just in case I read it that way, don't do that. Don't have your paycheck be directly deposited into your business bank account. Let your check come into your bank account and you write a check from your own personal checkbook into your bank, your business bank account, and fund your business that way. And thank you, Bob, for all the resources you're sharing in the chat. All right, good, good, good. All right, so when we look at, oh, if you write a check from, yeah, okay, great. So let's look at this next part. When it comes to liability, this is why I keep emphasizing the relationship between your personal check account, your personal checking account, and your business checking account. There's this thing of liability. And so many of you will probably select either a corporation status or an LLC because you want to get that protection. You want to make sure that when people see your business, they see your business and not you. That's essentially what it is. Like if something goes wrong, if there's some type of liability, you want it to be free from your person and you want the entity that you've created to be the one to take that hit. And so what this legal structure does is it requires you to separate your financials so that the entity, if it has to go through some type of litigation or legal troubles, that the entity is going through it and not you as the person. So your legal business entity requires separated financials. Using a business employer identification number or EIN instead of your personal social security number can protect your identity. So budgets. I used to get this question a lot, and I wanted to spend a little time here. The question is, how can I write a budget if my business is not making money? Have y'all asked that question before? Like, how is it that I'm going to write a budget or create a budget if I don't even have my business and my business is not operating? If you've asked that question, then essentially what I want you all to consider is being able to make some assumptions. A budget is basically this picture of assumptions. You're going to make an assumption that you're selling 100 widgets a month at $2 each. So you're going to assume that you're going to have $200 in revenue every month from your widget making, 24,000 a year from your widget making. Then you're going to start to look at real expenses and projected expenses. So for example, how much does it cost to get your widgets made? Well, that number may be a fixed number. There may be a certain amount that it costs every time for this widget. So you'll start to deduct, okay, it'll cost me 20 cents for each widget that I have made. So I got to do 20 times 100 a month. So that's $20 that I'm going to have to pay to get my widgets made. Okay, I'm going to have to pay X amount of money to market my widgets. Then I'm going to have to pay the lights for the office or the gas, or I need to buy a computer. You start to identify those expenses that you will have based on the assumption of how much revenue you'll make. And so again, your budget may not reflect the truth of the matter. It may not reflect your current state of your business, but it is something that you can use to make sure you're doing appropriate projections and learning how your business needs to function. For some of you all, if you do a budget, it will help you see how many widgets you need to sell in order to make the $1 million or in order for you to pay yourself $60,000 a year. Some people will say, well, you know, Tasha, I really want to make 60,000 or 50,000 from my business. So then once I sit them down with a budget and start to say, okay, let's work backwards. If you want 50,000 to go into your pocket, then how much does your business have to make? Can your business also make 50,000? They're like, no, of course it cannot, because your business has its own expenses. So now we have to start to see how much money does this business need in order to have you have a comfortable salary. That's why you have to budget. So budgets help prioritize, plan, control, and review your business expenses. It helps you with your startup budget. There are some costs in the initial startup stages that you don't have to pay every month. A good example of that would be a child care center. For some child care centers, you have those costs in the initial startup stages where you have to buy the beds, you have to get all of this furniture. But once it's started, you're not going to be buying furniture every month. There are some things you just won't have to purchase again, at least for a little bit of time. And so your startup budget will be different from your operating budget. Your operating budget will show the costs and expenses to operate the business daily. It reflects the ongoing fixed and variable costs associated with your business. And so, does that mean you may have two budgets? Absolutely. One to get started and then one to operate. And so, the question, with everything being online, would a money transfer be the same as writing a check? Um, You can show it. Let me ask, you can show that, yes, it would be the same as writing a check, a money transfer. The only thing is you don't have the benefit of writing a memo, unless they've changed some with some of these money transfers. But with the check, you're able to write a memo to say, to fund the business account. And then you'll have a record of that. And so if you're ever audited or if you go after certification, about, oh, I didn't see that one, Jamaica. If you go under some certification and things like that, it will be nice for them to be able to match up the check coming from your personal account and seeing it go into the business account, and they can see that this is to fund X, Y, and Z. And the same thing on the reverse. I personally would encourage you to write a check to yourself to cover expenses. So let's just say hypothetically, not best practice, but let's just say hypothetically, you purchase something for your business with your personal expenses and you want to reimburse yourself. I wouldn't just transfer money from the business account to my personal account. I wouldn't do that. I would write out a check, and put in the memo for reimbursement of copier or whatever that you had to do. So I would like to keep a paper trail, and that's my personal advice. Okay, someone says Zelle has you include a memo. Okay, that's great. Jamaica, what was the question about business plans and the information on the website? Where is that? Because I'll have to kind of scroll back. I don't remember seeing that. Oh, did you say the pros and cons? I did answer the pros and cons of a business plan, unless there was another question. So I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna keep going real quick until I see the other question. So we talked about the startup budget. So here's the childcare one that I shared with you all. This is an example of the child care center startup costs. So for them, they needed about $4,700 for the educational supplies. They had their marketing costs for the website and also business cards. They had fencing, $3,700, indoor equipment, $19,000. But this isn't the same that they would have to use every month. This was something that they assumed, having 76 children, this is what I'll need in order to start the child care center. So their total one-time cost came up to $95,000. But again, that's going to be different from an operating budget. So this operating budget, I know it's hard to read, but this operating budget really helps you see at a glance by quarter, what will I be bringing in? What's the budget that I'll be bringing in? What did I actually bring in? And so on this example, for this 12-month business budget, this person had projected to have 15,000 come in January, but they only had 6,000. They budgeted to have 15 in February, but only brought in 7,500. So this is important. And I know my heart goes out to a lot of business owners because you all spend a lot of time in your business, and not being able to work on your business. But whatever cadence you can make it happen, I would encourage you to take the time to evaluate your business operations and to look at your numbers and to do the budget. If you know that in Q1, which is January to March, that Q1 is low for you, then that means that you have to kick it in high for Q2. You got to do some different things for Q3 if you want to finish out strong the last quarter of the year. So this is how I would really encourage you all to use something like this. This is from Smart Sheets. It's a Smart Sheet template. You can make it what you need it to be. But again, this one just tracked revenue. It tracked sales and marketing, any types of wages, general admin costs, equipment and supplies, other rent and transportation. Again, you'll want to use something like that to decide how you're going to track your expenses. As we continue this whole thing about being legal on paper, so again, looking at the business structure, we talked about having either an LLC or corporation. You file it with the appropriate city, county, or state government agency to finalize and formalize the structure and business name. We already looked at the sole proprietorship, the single owner LLC or an S corp. Excuse me. Use the paperwork to form the structure, and then go online to irs.gov to get your EIN. I would encourage you all to do the name with the state first before getting your EIN, because your EIN will have to match what was registered exactly. So if you are putting down Tasha Brown, Tasha M. Brown Consulting, but then I go to irs.gov and I put in Tasha Brown Consulting, I didn't do the M, it's not the same company. It's not the same company. So I see a couple other questions. Hold on, let me go back to Jamaica. Jamaica, I saw you come in again. What was the website name? Oh, Venturize. Yes, venturize.org. VENTURIZE.org. And thank you, Bruce, for putting in there the SCORE business plate template. Marquita's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities is actually it's SWOT, a SWOT analysis, SWOT. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Certainly a good practice to do. So in addition to this paperwork and starting on the structure, I want to encourage you all to, if you're able, if you have it in your budget, to think about some accounting software. The SBDCs had a relationship with QuickBooks, and so QuickBooks had a very nice discounted product for small business development centers. I'm not sure if they still have that now, but think about some type of accounting software, especially if you don't like running reports. I've used QuickBooks before with some businesses that I owned, and it was great to use it to do a cash flow statement, to do a profit and loss statement, to do a balance sheet, because QuickBooks was connected to the business's bank account. I had to go into QuickBooks and make sure I assigned a category for the expenses. But once I did that, it became really easy at the end of the year to generate a profit and loss statement for the accountant, who would take all of the expenses that I had and make sure and file my taxes. I mean, it just became an easier way to do it. It did take an investment of time to go through the expenses and identify them and name them. I would encourage you, if you're able to do it monthly, to do it monthly. Sometimes I did it quarterly or semi-annually, and it was a little bit more challenging because it required more time. But if you're able to use some accounting software, I would say do that. It will help you track and record your financial transactions. Also, opening a business bank account. I mean, how many times can I say this? Do it. And then again, purchase equipment, materials, start sales, and all of that under the business's bank account. Please, under the business's bank account. Okay, Christy, we'll get you some resources for, I will tell you this, the WBDC, Women's Business Development Center, had a really good cash flow worksheet. If you all, I don't have it with me, but the WBDC, Women's Business Development Center, and Smart Sheets. If you all saw this here, Smart Sheets. Just go ahead and Google Smart Sheets template for a business budget. You probably can do that also for a cash flow statement. So Smart Sheets, let me go ahead and put that, Smart Sheets. You want to look that up, go ahead and Google that. If you register the name in English language but want to use the name in Spanish, can I use it interchangeably? I would do, Norma, I would do a DBA. You can do a DBA with the state of Illinois as well, especially if it's a LLC or a corporate structure. They have a space where you can do DBA. So if it's Tasha Brown doing business as Tasha Morone, because I know Morone is Brown, then I would have to do a DBA. All right, so more financial record keeping. Let me go ahead and move us along. I'm sorry, I'll move us along. So more with financial record keeping. Record keeping is a key activity to establish and operate your business, save money, and find funding. Again, we talked about keep organized records. You want to make sure you track your receivables and your payables. I will go into that if you, well, let me just do a little bit of that. So when you have receivables, that's basically money that's due to you. Going back to that QuickBooks example, when I had this construction company, or it was more of a painting and drywall company, we will often have to send out um, uh, bills or invoices to those that we did business with. Like we would work on their apartments and then send them an invoice. That is a receivable. That's money that's due to me, net 30 days, net 45 days, net 15 days. It just depends on how you structured it, where they have to pay you within a certain amount of time. But those are your receivables. You want to track them. You want to make sure that you're paying, that you're getting paid on, that they're paying you for those invoices that you have out there. But then payables, you also want to make sure that you're tracking the money that you owe. You know, payments for your business taxes or any rent or mortgage. So you want to track your receivables and your payables. There's some non-financial record keeping that you would need to have, which again are those documents I mentioned earlier. When you're looking at your bank documents, your certificates, your licenses, permits, your registration, what's not, oh, here they are, incorporation documents. So FYI, for those who have LLCs, you need to have an operating agreement, especially if it's not a sole member LLC, if it's where you and someone else have formed this limited liability corporation, you want to make sure that you have your operating agreement, which shows who makes the decisions. In the event that you all are deadlocked, if it's 50-50, what are you going to do to make that final decision for the business? That needs to be documented in that incorporation document, which includes your operating agreement. But have any contracts and partnerships or franchises that you have, and any documents for the property you own, whether it is the leases or mortgage, or if it's some, if you're leasing some other equipment, such as a laptop or computer or printer, copiers, you want to have all of that done. So let's look at, yes, and DBA can be interchangeable, Norma. Let's look at this, this whole thing of predatory lending. Let me tell y'all, listen here. Small Business Majority is currently working on some legislation regarding predatory loans, where we want to make sure that small business owners are receiving some transparency with a lot of the types of loan products that are out there. So one bill in particular is SB 2234. I got to get the House version too. But it's so important that you all have transparency when it comes to you getting loans, because let me tell you what happens. I'm going to read through these slides. When you are looking to get money, you need to know how much do you need? What do you need it for? How long will it take to pay it back? What is the best current financial shape of your business? How long have you been in business? How much collateral, if any, do you have for the loan? How quickly do you need the money? And are you seeking debt or equity financing? You all, these questions are so important. Folks know there are some people who don't mean you any good, as they would say, bad actors. There are a lot of bad actors out there who are looking to take advantage of your need for resources. And so as a result, they will make a lot of money off of lending you some money, some capital. So it's important that you do this planning. I'll answer in just a second. It's important that you do this planning to know, what do I need and what do I need it for? It's amazing that people will say, oh, I need $50,000. But when they look at $50,000, when you ask them, well, what do you need it for? They can't tell you that they need it to buy equipment or pay for payroll so that they can bring on someone else who will help them with their business operation. If there's no real plan associated with it, then that's not the best financial decision to make. If you don't know what you'll be using the money for, then take some time to figure it out. Take some time to answer these questions. What is it that you are doing? What do you need the money for? How much do you need? How long will it take for you to pay it back? Looking at your cash flow statement. Maybe it'll take me 5 years to pay it back because I tend to have a surplus in the fourth quarter. And so I'll use the money from the fourth quarter these next 5 years to pay this off. I mean, you'll be able to look at that once you have a good sense of your budget and your business's operation. Again, consider how long you've been in business, how much collateral, if any, do you have, and how quickly you need the money. So debt or equity financing, this is what equity financing is. It's essentially giving up a part of ownership to someone else in exchange for their financial resources. So instead of you owning 100% of the business, you may say, listen, I'll give you 10%, and that 10% is valued at $3,000. But you'll give them that 10% in exchange for their actual cash. So now they have equity in your business. So you want to make sure that you are looking to get either debt or equity. I'll tell you this other thing about equity financing that you want to be mindful of, especially if you are a minority, if you are a woman, if you're seeking some type of certification with a particular distinction, whether you are a veteran or disabled. If you water down your ownership, then it may impact your ability to get certified in that space. So for example, I'm not a veteran, but let's say if I was a veteran and I have this business, but someone has offered me some equity financing where they'll give me $50,000 for 51% stake in my business. Well, I no longer am majority owner. And so it will be hard for me to say that my business is majority owned by a female veteran. And so you want to, again, just be mindful of that when you start to look at debt or equity financing. But after asking these questions, start to think about where you need to go for access to capital. Predatory lending is such a growing problem, because online lending is one option for small business funding. Predatory lending is a growing problem with dishonest online lenders that disguise high rates, fees, costs, and they have unclear terms. Small business predatory lending can risk loss of business, home, savings, and could lead to business and personal bankruptcy. You all, these numbers are not wrong. Over 36 to 4,000% interest is the range for predatory online lending. Non-predatory online lending is 3 to 36%. There's actually a cap on the amount, on the percentage that you can charge or be charged in Illinois in regulated spaces. Online lending is unregulated. With the banks and other lenders, they are regulated, and so your interest rate is not going to be above 36%. But here's the thing. If you're in a pinch, if you are looking to get money right away, if you're trying to, if a bank, Chase Bank, BMO, I don't know about BMO, but Chase Bank, Bank of America, maybe some of these other larger banks turned you down and you don't have a relationship with your community bank, then you may go online. And women and minority-owned firms are the ones that face significant barriers. We're typically smaller in size. We start with less capital. We have lower approval rates for bank loans and at smaller dollar values. We're most vulnerable to predatory lending. And so these online lenders, they pop up and they give you options. They tell you that, hey, you're able to get this loan for today. We can fund your bank today, right? They give you a simple, streamlined application process, quick approval. They give you quick delivery of funds. They use technology and other social data to assess your risk. But online lending is largely unregulated. So you typically will have higher interest rates than banks. But let me make sure I explain this. Not all online lenders are equal, and some mask very high rates. So if you're a small business, you must proceed with caution. So for instance, the term predatory lending, it's not like there's a loan that you would say, give me the predatory loan. No, it's just a description of loans that charge you a ridiculous amount of money and cost you more than what's regulated. They're the loans that could have your interest rate be up to 4,000% with all the fees that they've charged you, and you wouldn't know because there's no transparency there. So you definitely want to make sure that you are proceeding with caution. Here are a few things that I want to make sure you all know on this call today, as you think about getting ready financially for your business, there's more than one way to get financing for your business. Oftentimes, we just look at getting a bank loan, or we may have friends and family. But here are other options. Yes, at one point there were a lot of grants. So grants are an option. SBA have loans. You may use your personal or business credit cards, home equity, community banks and credit unions. I saw someone list a credit union in the chat. Community banks and credit unions. All of these options are here, and you all can go over the list again once you review the recording. But these are ways that you can get additional revenue, additional capital to run your business. So you want to look for other options and not just predatory loans. So when you are looking to get a loan, make sure you ask, what's the interest rate? Are there other rates? Like, is there an AIR or APR? Are there any upfront fees? If so, where do those fees go? What are the payment amounts and what's the frequency? Are you going to take money out of my account every day? With this revenue-based financing, they may take money out of your account every day. Are there prepayment penalties? What's the full cost of the loan over its lifetime? If refinancing, are fees being added to the existing principal? Is the lender imposing deadlines for accepting the offer? Like, are you feeling pressured to do this? And if going through a broker, are they fully disclosing their fees? I want to make sure you all see this next slide, because I know many of you all don't know about this program. I want you to hear this, and if you can stay on for a few more minutes. I see someone said this is good. Yeah, we have a few more minutes to go, but I want to make sure you all hear about Advantage Illinois. Have you heard of Advantage Illinois? Just put yes or no in the chat. Advantage Illinois. Let me good. Oh, this is great. No, okay, I got a lot of no's. Listen, y'all, listen up closely. Listen closely. Advantage Illinois is a participation loan program through the Illinois Department of Commerce that helps Illinois businesses get term loans financing at lower rates. Okay? So essentially, if a bank feels as though you are too risky, maybe you don't have collateral, maybe your credit is a little bit challenged, if a bank will deny you, a bank who is participating in Advantage Illinois can turn to the state and say, hey, listen, we want to send this loan through the program. The Advantage Illinois program fills a gap that prevent businesses from attaining financing, such as, again, the collateral, the equity shortfalls, the lack of historical cash flow, if you have low credit scores or negative net worth. The loan can be used for real estate, for equipment, for inventory, leasehold improvements, working capital, even for starting your business or refinancing another loan. So if you found that you got into one of those loans where after it was calculated, the interest rate is anything north of 36%, and you want to get that refinanced, and you go to your bank and your bank is like, yeah, no, your credit history, or there's some other challenges, then ask them, well, does this bank participate in Advantage Illinois? Oh, thank you for putting that in there. You will be able to see on the website what banks participate in Advantage Illinois. And once you see who's participating in Advantage Illinois, you'll want to talk to them. Listen, I would encourage you, talk to that banker or that bank and let them know, I'm interested in, refinancing this loan. I understand you all participate in Advantage Illinois. Can we see what can be done here? Now, you can't talk to the state on your own. You certainly have to go through the bank to do it. Now, did you all find that helpful? I hope you found that helpful. I wanted to do everything. I really wanted you all to hear about this loan program because the federal government gave the state of Illinois money to help in these areas. And so again, if you feel as though you need a loan and you may not be able to get it from a traditional bank per se, go online. Cynthia put it in the chat. Cynthia, if you can bring that back again. The DCEO Advantage Illinois program, you can find out who is a participating banker. And yes, and it works for startups like you, who's a particular participating bank, and work with that bank and definitely let them know about either you refinancing or if you want to buy some equipment or real estate. Advantage Illinois is a good program to look into. All right, let's keep it going. I'm glad you all found that helpful. So really quickly, borrowers' bills of rights, you can read this on your own, but Small Business Majority is a part of the Responsible Lending Coalition. You can find our website at the bottom of this slide, responsiblelending.org. We just believe that you have the right to transparent pricing and terms. You have the right to be treated fairly, credit access, responsible underwriting. And so you can read the rest of that, but definitely we're fighting on your behalf to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. So be cautious when considering online lending, especially merchant cash advances, brokers, and invoice factoring, and unregulated in-person lending. Be careful. I would venture to say stay away if you can. Go that community bank route, go with those banks that are participating in Advantage Illinois so that you can have some more protection than you had before. Real quickly, so if you have experienced some type of predatory practice in the past, I want to hear from you. If you can pull out your phones or even just send me an email, I'll drop my email address into the chat. But I want to hear about your story because it can really help educate other businesses to avoid those pitfalls of predatory lenders. And, we can help you provide or find some resources to help you get out of that quagmire. So definitely reach out to me, Scan. Yeah, Stacey, I would love to hear your story. Yeah, definitely reach out. So lastly, understanding credit. You all know about credit. There are 5 C's of credit. There's a myth going out there that you don't have to do a personal guarantee for business loans. That's a myth. You do. All these loans require your personal guarantee. And what that means is essentially you personally will be on the hook for these loans. So they're going to be looking at your character, your cash flow, your capital, collateral, and the conditions. So if you are challenged with your credit, I want to encourage you to take time to work on it. Understand that 35% of it is going to be history, your payment history, but 30% is the debt utilization. If you have high balances, more than 25 to 30% of your total credit, that's going to impact your score. The length of time you've had credit is a 15% factor, credit inquiries, 10%, and the type of credit, the mix is 10%. But basically, getting your history together and keeping your debt utilization down will help your score improve. So make sure you work on your personal credit because it is a factor. That's why many folks are turning to online lenders because their credit has not been acceptable by some of these traditional banks. And so you're looking for money, you're looking for ways to get some resources really fast. These notices are coming to you. You see these lenders online. You may have even gotten something in the mail, or you may have seen an ad on one of your apps. You go after their product. They're telling you that it's an 18% interest, but once we add in all the fees, it ends up being much more than that. So to avoid that, work on your credit, develop a relationship with a community bank, especially one that's participating in Advantage Illinois, and begin your journey there. So decrease your expenses and save money for your home and business, access capital and credit for your business, and managing your personal credit also gives you increased financial wellness and mental well-being as you grow your business. So next steps and resources, definitely go online to venturize.org. It's a free online resource hub for small businesses. We have tools there. We have one good tool to help you see what your true cost of your loans are through the MCA, Merchant Cash Advance. So we have some tools online that you can see that. And Venturize can help you understand the basics of small business lending. It can help you compare loan options. You can get improvements for your credit score with some of the information we have on venturize.org. And you can locate a responsible lender near you. We also offer information on your retirement plan for your business. So ways you can get involved, definitely reach out to me. Follow us online on X or Facebook or even on Instagram. We would love to have you share your story with legislators and attend events. So please join our network. And now I'm going to stop here for your questions and answer as many questions as I can. Thanks, John. Thanks for that. Great, great, great. I have the DBA. Yes, Norma, open up your business bank account. You have your LLC, you have your EIN, absolutely open up your account. A recording will be available, Carolyn. So a recording, I think we're sending out the PowerPoint, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, you'll have access, Asia, you have access to the recording. I'm glad you have your finances in order. Is that Cherith? Great. Thank you, Yabo.
Tasha, did you want to do any live questions?
Yeah, anybody who wants to come off mute, absolutely.
If you want to ask Tasha a question live, please raise your virtual hand and I will unmute you.
Yeah, SCORE, WBDC, Small Business Development Centers, BACP. Oh, not Felicia. All of those are available for you to get some support. Go ahead, Felicia.
Felicia, you got to accept my request to unmute you.
Okay, go ahead. Felicia, Alberto, or Alex, either one of you, I'll go ahead. Oh, Alberto, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know if I could get access to that otter.ai that you
I
guys.
didn't do the otter. I don't know who did. Did BACP have the otter on?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was you guys. Well,
No, I didn't. Yeah, no
okay, so
problem.
I have a nonprofit, and do nonprofits still hold the same as like a regular business where we could get a loan or no?
So this is Alberto, great question. Traditionally, no, but with Advantage Illinois, yes. So Advantage Illinois does work with well, they don't work with nonprofits. They work with the banks that work with nonprofits. So yeah, definitely make sure you connect with the bank that is on that list so you can talk about your nonprofit and getting a loan for it.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Who's next, Felicia or Alex?
I can go. I can let Felicia go if she wants to go first. It's fine.
Well, go ahead, Alex. You're already unmuted.
Okay, thank you so much. I have a question. If I don't know how you call this type of loan, but let's say you have a contract, someone is trying to buy something from you, but you don't have the cash or you don't have the liquidity to go ahead and supply that contract. Would that be enough for an unsecured loan to work with a bank that, or are there any banks that work with that?
You can check with your bank. They call it factoring, if I'm understanding you correctly. Yeah, factoring.
Yes.
And so there are some companies that do factoring. I'll tell you this, if you have, let's say you have a contract with Target and you need to provide X amount of widgets, then there are some companies, because of their relationship with Target, will finance you for making those widgets. I will first say start with your bank though, to see if they can help you with that. If they see this invoice or no, a purchase order, they may be able to finance you based on that. But I think it just depends. Second to that would be looking at a factoring company specifically.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Felicia, were you able to unmute your?
Her. She has to accept it.
So
While we're
while
waiting for Felicia, anyone else with questions, please raise your virtual hand.
Yep, and I see Stacy. I'm going to try to answer some of these in the chat. So is there a limit to the amount Advantage Illinois can help you get if you are a startup? There are some limits for the bank. So I think they do up to half of the loan. So let's say you need 50,000, Advantage Illinois will cover up to half of that. I think there are some other instances where they may go a little bit more or a little less, but you want to get those specifics with your bank. But yeah, their program is for those who are starting as well as those who are growing their business.
Anna?
Anna?
Ed?
Mhm.
Hi, good morning.
Come on.
I have a question regarding the sole proprietor and that you had mentioned at the beginning. You can do like a name, like you
Mhm.
can register the name, I believe,
Yes.
of the company as a sole proprietor. Now, in this case, me and my husband we've been trying to open up this business, but for one thing or another, health wise, we have stopped, but we have seen the signs that the business keeps coming to us, like it's something that doesn't want to leave our site. And so we're trying to make it more, how can I explain it, more structured, the business. What do you recommend in this case? Like you said that we can do sole proprietor name. Does that have any advantage or disadvantage, or is just better off to go to LLC for a better, more like to grow, because that's our concept. That's what we all want at the end of the day. We want to grow.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would say it just
Mhm.
depends on the type of business. I was typing while you were talking. Did you say what type of business was it?
we're construction business. We're doing
Yeah.
we do general just basically concrete. That's our main thing.
Yeah.
So that's the type of business that we have at the moment, and that's what we're trying to see what can we go for, because we are 1099, but we are working as a sole proprietor, but we haven't like legalized our name. We want to legalize our business name.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I'm still confused. Like, should I just continue doing a sole proprietor, or should we just expand it to an LLC? We're still in that limbo.
Okay, so let me say this. I'm going to put a disclaimer out here.
Mhm.
What I'm about to share is just my opinion. It's not
Okay.
professional advice. In that regard, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. So this is just my my personal opinion. I think you should make it a LLC or corporation or corporate structure,
Mhm.
primarily because of the nature of your work. I mean, concrete is a
Mhm.
very expensive business. And so if anything were to happen, you are really open and you're liable, you and your husband as people, you're liable, not there's no entity to protect you. And so if someone doesn't like the concrete job you did, the concrete is chipping, is cracking up, they want to go ahead and sue you, well, you and your husband are the ones that will be named in the suit versus such and such concrete contractors. You know what I mean? And so I
Yeah.
would just say for protection's sake, to have another entity. I want you all to think about a business entity as a third person. It's like, no, it's not me, it's him. The business takes all of that responsibility. I mean, it's limited, but it takes a brunt of that responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
That's giving me more a push of the direction I'm trying to head to. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Is Alex back or this is from earlier? Well, while we wait,
Earlier.
okay, once you do your LLC, do you have to trademark your name? Yes, if you are able to trademark, and let me give you all this. Easy breezy. I'm giving you this so for free. Listen to this real quick. You can trademark your name in the state of Illinois for $10. Now it's a local trademark. But it's a very easy thing to do. I would encourage everyone, trademark your stuff, whether it's your name, a logo, or a phrase, start with the state of Illinois for $10. The federal trademark is a lot more. The federal trademark can cost hundreds of dollars. But if you find that you're just doing business right now in the state of Illinois or even the city of Chicago, and you just want people to know you locally, trademark your name with the state. And is there a website? Yes, there's a website. I'll see if I can find it real quick. Asia asked, does Advantage Illinois have a cap where they can only accept a certain amount of businesses? No. Is there a limit to amount they can help? I think I should answer that already, Stacy, that there is, they do have different limits. It just depends on your particular situation. This one, I'm not sure, Chantel, if you have 5 names under your EIN, number one, I don't know how that can be. Can you use any name or do you have to use your legal name? Always use your legal name. That's what I would just say. Always use that. Advantage Illinois does not have lines of credit. From what I understand, it's just a revolving loan. Not revolving, it's just a loan, not a revolving loan. My goodness, I'm having a time today. I apologize, you guys. But they have a loan, so definitely with that. business plan writer. I mean, if you really are having some challenges with that, Chat GPT, I mean, that's, you might as well use AI for something. So if you really are finding yourself having a hard time fleshing out your thoughts, feed it some information saying, hey, listen, I'm a business owner and I want to do business with elementary school teachers and I wanted to do this. Help me write a marketing strategy. You can use Chat GPT that way. But you have to feed it. I would say to really get the most of it, use your own voice. Give it the prompts that you need to help you expand your idea. Don't just say, hey, give me some ideas. Use it to expand the ideas you currently have. Did I miss some others? Now I'm going back down. Let's see. After the trademark. My job is paying for my time. Thank you, though, Alberto. Okay, score. All right, let me find the trademark one. Let's see. Any other questions? So the Illinois trademark application, let me put that in here. Yeah, folks will charge you a whole lot of money to do this trademark application. It is a $10 fee. What I'm putting in the chat is actually the document. There's a document right there. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. The document where you can use it to go ahead and put in your own, it's a 3-page, was that 2-page document. Put in your information, file your trademark for $10 for the state of Illinois. Yes, it costs more with the federal trademark, but at least get started here. And so we had a Q&A. I'm a disabled person, wheelchair bound, and I need help with a nonprofit tax accountant to help with the IRS issues. Who can help? I'm sorry, anonymous attendee. I would say, do a Google search and get some referrals. I am very careful to not direct people to certain professionals, tax professionals or financial professionals, because I don't know the individuals. And if they were to take your money, I don't want to be liable for that. But get some referrals. Ask somebody that you know who runs a nonprofit. Have you had your taxes filed? And if so, who did you use? Do you trust them? My last slide, where do you register? Definitely go online to venturerise.org. And let me see the other one. Let's see, I'm going back to the slides. Oh, you can, send it to me. You want the QR code? Is that what it was? Just send me an email. That's what I write, majority, small business majority. What is the laundromat business question? What is that, Francisco? Were those all the questions? If I missed your answering your question, just drop it back in the chat or raise your virtual hand so I can get you. Other than that, I just dropped my email address in the chat. I have another Q&A. Are there any new grants available for Illinois-based small business owners focused on education? I don't know if there are. It may not even be that specific. One thing you can do if you're looking for opportunities, you can go online. How do I want to say this? You can go online and find different grant programs with the state of Illinois. They do have a database, but you have to be something called GATA certified. That's a whole nother conversation. I would encourage you all to visit your local small business development centers so that you can get GATA certified. So when you start to look for these opportunities with CPS or other types of government agencies that work in education, you will be able to apply for those because you're now certified with the state of Illinois and their system. It's called their Grants Accountability and Transparency Act, GATA. So again, the state of Illinois does have grants where you can work with the state of Illinois and other places. So you want to make sure that you get grant certified. You have your EIN and your business name. Did you register your business, Felicia? Is your business registered with the Secretary of State? If you haven't registered, then I would say make sure you register your business. If you have, then I would say go ahead and open up your business bank account. I don't offer trainings in other languages. I believe the city of Chicago does, and there are some resource partners throughout the city of Chicago, one being Rogers Park Business Alliance. I know they offer classes in Spanish, and I think they have a third language, so English, Spanish, and I think a third language. But you want to look at other business service organizations to see if they have some of their trainings in other languages. So yeah, Felicia, register your business with the Secretary of State. I'll drop that in here too. How can you stop someone from some? It's kind of hard to stop someone from stealing a business idea. Martez, really, people have said, how do you build a better mousetrap? And so basically they'll take your idea and just improve upon it, unfortunately. But I mean, that's how it's done. I want to, let me find you all for the business, for corporations. If you want to start your business, here is from the Illinois Secretary of State. Thank you for the Rogers Park one. Thank you for that. So here under there with the Secretary of State is where you can, file your articles of organization or your articles of incorporation. Well, listen, two more QAs and then I will close this out. Are there any, we saw that. Any fee for renovation or data certification? I'm not sure I understand the renovation or data certification. GATA? There's no fee for the GATA certification, no. The GATA certification, GATA, is free. It just requires your time. But there's no fee. Okay. Awesome. How do you get GATA certification? Oh yeah, let me find that one too. Sorry about that. Let's see. Here's the portal for GATA. You have to register with the state of Illinois. There you go. Put that here too. So register with the state of Illinois. And once you register, it will take you through all of the different prompts. Again, it's something that you can do on your own. But if you do have a financial professional or a CFO or a tax accountant, I will have them do that with you. But getting GATA certified is free. But once you are, then you're able to apply for some of the grants that the state of Illinois has. And some of them are in education, some are in home hospice or other the medical type of spaces. So you want to make sure that you can look those up. Let me see. It's really hard to find here where you can find these grants with some of the state. In terms of the renovation, that's really hard. A lot of banks don't do the investment property type stuff. It's kind of nuanced. I would say start with your local bank though. All right, you all, that's been my time. I thank you so much. I hope that you found some value. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I thank you again for your time. You all have a great day.
Thank you, Tasha, for your presentation today. I hope all of our attendees got the much needed information that you were looking for. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you will automatically receive credit for today's attendance within 24 hours. If you are not a part of the program, please visit our website at chicago.gov/BACP certificate. Again, that's chicago.gov/BACP certificate. And have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.